Alright, welcome to Bam's Tabletop. We're going to paint up a squad of Eldar Rangers. We're going to use this model of Eldar as a guide. This is one I already have painted, so it's got my color scheme. And we're going to use it as a reference. Got a nice zenithal highlight going, primed black, and then just spray canned from the top down with white. Has become my preferred way to speed paint. It's just so fast. Playing with a new camera, so trying to figure out the autofocus. Apologies. Pretty cool camera though. We're going to start off with the killer Caribbean Ocean by Army Painter Speedpaint. Comes out pretty turquoise, really, so looks pretty good. It's very light blue. It's the same color as I used on Eldar there. I started out with a little bit too big of a brush. I think it was a size 4. I think I moved down to a size 2. With this Caribbean Ocean, you want to make sure your zenithal highlight's pretty good. The black or gray will show no blue, so it's only going to affect the white parts. Got it at ×10 speed, so we can cruise right along, as it's a squad, so I'm doing everything ×5. Just about done with the blue here. Alright, we're going to move on to our next color here. We've got Ashen Stone, another Army Painter Speed Paint. We're going to do all the cloaks. So I was a little hesitant at first with this color. Gray's kind of a weird color for me to paint. I don't like a model that looks gray because it looks unpainted. But the way this gray turned out on top of these cloaks, I'm really happy with. I think it looks pretty cool. So once again, hit all 5 of those cloaks with gray. We'll move on. Alright, on to the next color. We've got Bony Matter and Skeleton Horde. I just wanted to see kind of how these compared. Bony Matter is a lot darker brown. So I ended up going with Skeleton Horde. But you can see the difference when I put Bony Matter on this first one. Kind of interesting to see. Yeah, to me the Bony Matter probably is closer to Citadel's grime. What's it called? Like Rattling Grime or something like that. It's more of a brown, dirty than it was a light brown Skeleton Horde. So we swatch over to that one. I think I just said swatch. That's Bam's Tabletop for swap. There we go, that's the color we're looking for. Much better. Kind of that bone white type of weapon. Just to match the rest of this scheme, this whole army has been painted this way, so. It's a used lot I picked up from a friend. So I'm painting up, a few things just to match, so. Okay, we're going to go through, hit all 5 of them. We're gonna do the mine thing that he's holding, and the binoculars that the sergeant guy's holding as well. So any type of weapon, anything in the hands, we're painting with Skeleton Horde. Alright, next step we're gonna go with Gagrak's Sewer. It's my favorite leather color. I like it more than the actual leather color. We're gonna hit all of the holsters on the back. There's a few hip holsters with pistols, and maybe some straps, some belts. I'm not gonna spend too crazy much time on that though. Alright, we're gonna use warrior skin on any skin at all we can see. I think for the most part I went with helmet heads, except on the leader guy. So just had to do a forehead there, pretty much. And then I also do his hair in Grim Black from Army Painter. I was really trying to use Army Painter just because I bought their big speed paint set, and I want to make sure I've tried every color. At this point I've tried quite a few. I'm pretty pleased with them. Alright, next we're going to do some pale sand. I intended to do a highlight on the weapons with this and to hit the gems on like the chest. I did it on this first guy. My paint was a little too wet and it ran off the gem and kind of ruined it. And I thought, this isn't worth the time and effort. Then we got a visitor crawling into my lab. This is Odin. He's our French bulldog. He's very cuddly. So I take a little break, give Odin some cuddles. Alright, now we've got the good old Steel Legion drab. Gonna hit the bases. Get them all base coated. Base coat those bases. Now we're going to grab some Dawnstone and just hit the little tactical rocks that a few of them are standing on. Okay, and we'll go through and we'll do a second coat on all those bases. I watered the Steel Legion down quite a bit, so a second coat is definitely needed. Nice and smooth. Alright, these models are painted. It's time to do some basing, so I'm just getting a few of my regular options. Kind of the same basing materials I used on Eldar. So I got my Army Painter glue, brown battleground, and we've got some grass. Not that kind of grass. So I start with a little bit larger rock, and then I'll do the brown battleground, and then I'll put grass in. Yeah, you can see on Eldrad kind of how that's supposed to turn out. He doesn't have much room on his base. Alright, so I'll show you this process real quick. I'm going to put some glue on the palette. I like to use a brush to apply it to the base. We're going to start with these small big rocks. They're the smallest rocks I have. They're very big on a mini though. So we're going to apply some glue. And this glue is water-based, so it's not going to hurt your brush. I'm using a size 6, it's pretty big size. If you have a small spot you want to get into, of course, just drop to a small brush. And I'm just putting this where I want those big rocks to be. So typically, you know, in nature, you'll see rocks and then they get broken down into smaller rocks, which turns into sand and grass and all that. So we're going to start big and go small, then down to grass. Make it a little more realistic. So I'm placing these into that glue. Then we're going to grab this brown battleground, and you can see I didn't apply more glue, I'm just filling in the gaps of that bigger glue, or the bigger rocks. And then I hit the bottom of the base to knock anything loose. And that's what we've got for rocks. Looking good. Now we're going to put some more glue on, and we'll do some grass. Okay, we're just going to drizzle some glass on top of that glue. Make sure we get it everywhere, and not on the rim. Any grass on the rim, we're going to use our finger to wipe that away. And make sure when you're putting your glue on, you don't get glue on that rim. So, that's what it's looking like. Very realistic base, very easy to do. When we hit that with a primer, the bigger rocks are going to turn a little more red. When they get wet, they're a little redder color, and they'll stay that color with the primer on top. So I'm fine with that. I think they look good with a little redder tint. And here's our finished product. I think they look pretty awesome considering they only took about 2 hours. A little less than 2 hours to paint. Pretty dang cool. Let me know what you think. If you like the channel, please subscribe, like, it really helps out. I'm trying to get it to grow, so appreciate the help. Thanks.